Hello everyone and welcome to the Japanese Grand Prix in today's episode of the McLaren Return to Glory. This one is round 16 of the season and we are approaching the end of year number 2 in this career mode, and after the last episode the scenario has completely flipped on its head this season. So guys, check out the last race. Some big moments, and it basically has flipped the script and now we have something to fight for. So first things first is a marketing department event. We have to choose a new rival. I'm going to go pretty safe and go for Carlos Sainz because we lost the last rivalry to Charles Leclerc, so I want to make sure we win this one and get the acclaim from it. So upgrade time. We had a failure which was planned for this race, the engine cover, a major upgrade for the chassis, a weight reduction upgrade, so we're going to have to repurchase that, which will hopefully be on the car for the next race in Qatar, and we're going to add to that by doing another upgrade, this time for the aero for the rear wing upper flap, and that's going to be for the rear downforce, and that should hopefully also be on the car for the next race if this one doesn't fail. So two pretty big upgrades. Although the aero one is a minor, it's still an improvement of sorts, and we should have a pretty improved package in the next race weekend. Now the forecast is dry. As for upgrades, you can see right now we're pretty level, in terms of performance. We're approaching maxed out cars now. We're very close, which means there's not going to be a lot of big sways or swings or big pivots. The next upgrade package we bring might be the last big change that happens this season for us. As for the championship, I mentioned before, the script has been flipped. So last episode, Russell retired for the second race in a row, which has blown the championship not wide open, but open to some extent, and we now have a small chance. In the constructors, we're also up to second place. So last race we got a really good result, myself and Lando, and we've had a couple of good results, a couple of 1-3s in a row, which have really turned our season around or given us a bit of momentum at the right time. So yeah, things are looking up right now, looking really good, and we could be closing out season 2 on a high. I got through practice using the same engine from the last race, which is power unit number 2, which is really second hand at this point. Fuel consumption is actually quite high here, higher than usual. Tyre wear about normal, not too high, not too low, but for qualifying we are going to go ahead and change components because we got through the last race and managed to win it with a very old engine. So that now means we should be okay to get to the end of the year with the components we have left and not have to take any grid drops, unlike other teams like Mercedes and Russell, especially, who had 2 consecutive retirements. He might be in some trouble in the final races, and also Ferrari have had a lot of reliability issues as well, so they might be in trouble in these closing races. So yeah, practice went smooth, went off without a hitch. We got a decent amount of points as we're sitting over 2200 points now, so we'll try and get some more upgrades on the start of the next episode, and yeah, a few discounts which aren't really that productive anymore, so it's kind of irrelevant, but still they're still going on constantly and being applied. But we're going to jump into qualifying with our fresh engine. It's not completely brand new, some of the parts are a bit second hand, but we're looking at some new components, a mixture, and also some second hand ones which I know more than 20-25% worn. So for the most part it's a full power engine pretty much, so that should give us a bit of a boost. I also increased the front wing a little bit for qualifying based off practice and also because of that engine. Now our first lap was a bit of a mistake. We went through the S's, got a bit out of shape, got the wrong line, and besides that it was a pretty good lap, but just that first mistake in the S section. The rest of the lap was actually really good. Across the line, 125.6 and a couple of tenths off Lando in P4, which is a good sign. P6 on a bad lap. Eventually they got pushed down to P11 and I'm now my second time lap, although we start off not in the best way, dipping a wheel into the grass on the exit starting the lap, so we're already down by half a tenth as we now make our way into the S section. So I'm going to show you here exactly what sort of time we lost with that mistake in the last one. So just taking the right line this time, clipping the curb at the right time, you can see we gain near enough 2.5 tenths, which brings our advantage now at the end of this entire S section to just over 3 tenths. So we pretty much kept that advantage throughout the whole lap, kept it going. Like I said before, the previous lap was actually really good. It was just that mistake in the S section, and then we made a bit more time up in the final chicane by cutting the inside curbs and finding a better exit, and that is going to move us into a 25.1 purple sector 3 P8, and that should do the trick. Back to the garage, you can see we've got a pretty healthy gap over Ocon, Piastri there as well, and even a couple of tenths, or 4 tenths faster than Lando, 3.5 tenths give or take. So yeah, we didn't go back out. We was comfortably into Q2, and the car seemingly working quite well. Decent pace, some pretty normal names being knocked out, although the big surprise is Ocon in the Alpine compared to Gasly, who finished in the top 5. But besides that, no big dramas, both cars through and into Q2. Now we're using a fresh set of tyres and we're going for a single flying lap. So Degner 1, Degner 2, I run a bit wide, just a small error there. The sector 1 was actually perfect. It was my best first sector of the entire weekend, a tenth quicker than the one we done in Q1 on that best final lap. But we just ran a bit wide at Degner 2, bottomed out the curb, and lost a bit of time getting the traction down. Besides that, it was a pretty decent lap, to be fair. Up to the line we go, a 25.1, so we match our Q1 lap time that got us through with a mistake. So there's definitely a 24 in there, which would potentially get us in P1 if you look at the lap times here. Although the AI, all of them have gone considerably slower. I don't know to what extent, but they've all gone considerably slower in Q2 for some reason. So yeah, I'm assuming they're all going to find time, because we're P6 right now, which is fine, but I made a mistake, so that's not really normal. Either way, we're going to try again and look to improve, clean up the mistake, which is the real key point, and then see if we can find some extra time in certain areas. So, here we go. Turn 1 into turn 2, turn in at the 50, and then brake for turn 2, not for turn 1. Important to keep it in 5th and get the drive out on the curb. And now, through the S section, it's very important to clip the first 2 curbs. The third one, you want to stay off. The fourth one, you also want to stay off because they unsettle the car. It's just the first 2 apexes you have to basically not take a lot of, but you have to clip those inside curbs to get the car rotated. And we set an incredible first sector, even better than before, a 30.2. We clean up the second Degner, and you can see the time gain there, over to nearly 3 tenths as we now head into the hairpin. Nice and early on the apex, using the camber, and crucially getting a very nice exit. And we're now 3.5 tenths up, which means we're looking at a 24.8, maybe even a 7 if we find a bit more time. So up to spoon curve at the 50, brake and turn in. I clipped the grass a little bit on entry, but it doesn't affect us too much. Could have carried a bit more speed throughout that entire sequence. I kind of scrubbed off a bit too much speed nowhere near the exit curve on the exit. Just didn't really push enough through there, but still found some time as we now enter sector 3. So for this one, straight line braking, try and brake at the 100 meter board, I believe, if not just after, down a 3rd gear. Important to get the curve, and we go in a bit too early for that second one, and I have to just take it easy on the exit. We actually lose time, which wasn't ideal. Across the line, and we go P1 with a 24.8, so reckon that should do the job. Checkered flag out as now Leclerc moves the goalpost with a 24.5, and we're out of qualifying just like that. A big shock, a big surprise, and I did not expect that. I knew that AI was sandbagging or got something wrong on the first run because they were so much slower than Q1 and we were so much higher up than usual, but I didn't actually think that many cars would find time, so that has caught me off guard, because I actually, in the last part of the lap, I thought, okay, I've cleaned up the mistake through the Degner. I'm just going to basically make sure we get this lap on the board, so I kind of took a little bit off, and didn't go as fast in the final sector. To be fair, from spoon all the way down to the finish line, I didn't really go as fast, hence why I lost a little bit of time in little areas, because I thought I was good. I thought I just had to keep the lap clean and get the car across the line, and it cost us, because, yeah, we could have made it through with another tenth or half a tenth. So, yeah, bit of a shame, really. Either way, work to be done for the race, so we're going to have to fight back and turn this one around against all odds.
No fewer than 12 world champions have been crowned at Suzuka, but who will be tasting glory today at the checkered flag? We're approaching lights out, and we can't wait for the Japanese Grand Prix. 18 corners make up a lap of the incredible figure-of-8 Suzuka circuit, with 10 to the right and 8 to the left, for a distance of 3.6 miles. Average lap speeds around here are fairly quick. If it stays dry, then expect somewhere in the region of 136 miles per hour. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Norris, Sainz, Gasly, Bottas, Oscar Piastri, Perez, Albon, Martinez, Verstappen, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, De Vries, Ocon, Magnussen, Joe, Teo Pourchaire, and Logan Sargent. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Why don't we start by talking about Carlos Sainz? That was a great win in the last race, but can they keep that momentum going into this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Right, here we go then. Time for the race at Japan. Now, starting P11, there's been no grid penalties for any other driver, so we're starting where we qualified. Now, qualifying was, of course, a bit disappointing. A bit of a surprise to get knocked out, in Q2, which, don't get me wrong, I knew it was going to be close, but I purposely didn't give it 100% on the lap because I thought that lap was enough. And, we got caught out. So, for the race, we're going to have to push and recover. So, the plan for this one is to start on the soft tire. I think I'm gonna go a bit aggressive and see if it pays off. Usually I would go for the medium hard, but I want to see if I can go in a bit of a different direction and see if it pays off. Get the soft tire on, try and get a few places off the start, and then hopefully jump onto a fresh medium. The soft is not fresh, which isn't ideal, but we'll make it work. And then fuel-wise, I'm going for about 3 laps extra. I don't want to have any fuel trouble. I want to be able to go flat out and push all the way through. So, no rain forecast. So we're going to get to work and send it. I think we've got a good race car, a good race pace, but we'll confirm that hopefully by lap 3 or 4. So let's get to work and let's send it. Okay, here we go. Super efficient formation lap. Very, very little tyre wear being added. We're just basically using the brake method, which I showed in my most recent YouTube short. And we're going to get to work. Everyone ahead of us is on medium. Everyone in the top 10. So we're going to have to make this tyre count. I may cut the stint short by a lap and get on the medium before the tyre wear hits too heavily. But this is going to be a crucial race start. Got to try and nail it. Here we go. Lights out, away we go. Good start. Really good start. A few slow starters as we head down to turn 1. Side by side with Bottas as we going to try to see if we can force a couple more moves here. Side by side with Checo into the S section. We're going to get that position as well. Looking at Gasly here. Bit of contact. Pierre closes the door on us. And now Bottas trying to go back through both Aston Martin side by side as Bottas does make the move. I'm going to try and set him offline. See if I can cut back underneath. He runs wide at the Degner, but he keeps it on the track and stays ahead. So fair play, good defensive driving. Oh, an aggressive start from everyone involved. Everyone getting the elbows out early. Good hairpin. Yellow flag. Let's see if we can try and push on and get Bottas. Looks like we're lacking a bit in terms of the straight line speed department. We'll see how we hold it up now out of speed. This will be the real test. Sector 3 is where I was quick in qualifying. Let's see if I can get some sort of a run. Usually I'm used to racing around here having very good straight line speed, but it seems like that's not the case this year. Our setup is pretty high on wing. We do gain a lot though through 130R. But not quite enough to really close in. I'm going to see if I can set up an exit. Lando up ahead battling with Sainz as we get a brilliant exit out the final corner. Let's see if we can pass Valtteri here for P7. Going to hold the inside line. Bottas backs off, there we go. Right, good start. That gives us 3 places, or 4 places actually. And we're tucked in behind the Aston Martins, and also Lando just up the road there in, I believe, P3. Both Mercs out front though, racing away. They seem to be a level above everyone else around here this weekend. Sainz under pretty big pressure from Piastri. As you'll see, Piastri down pulling to the inside. I may have a chance here to get a couple of moves as DRS will be enabled. I'd love to get onto the back of Lando. Lando actually pushing on and catching back up to the Mercedes cars and pulling away from this lot. Not the best chicane, not the best exit. We may still have a chance though.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Oh, I could have actually maybe gone for that. Leclerc braking very early for turn 1. I was trying to throw the dummy to see if we'd go defensive, but he didn't bite. Got to try and use his soft tyre in the early stages. Oh, that was great through there. Really nice braking. Exit about the same. Perez overtaking Bottas behind. Meanwhile, out front, Lando's actually catching back up to the Mercedes car. So Lando putting a shift in, and we've got a race on our hands, which is good to see. Very nice exit there. We are very strong in the hairpin. We'll see if we can maybe line up a pass. Piastri trying to brake. This could happen into the chicane and also into turn 1. Sainz, I think, is just holding on to DRS from Piastri, but now Leclerc is going to try and force the issue, which is going to provide an opportunity now. Getting the run through 130R. Let's see if I can try and get the exit this time out of here. A little bit wide of the second apex, but we power up beautifully. And we're going to get a ridiculous double slipstream here, although Leclerc pulls to the inside. So we're going to have to go the long way round. There we go, another one down. Sainz next up. Nice move so far. Good race. The high downforce setup is working quite well. I'm keeping up through the first sector, which has been an Achilles heel for me in the past. Definitely think we can get onto Lando if we can pass these guys. Yellow flag. Oh no. Oh my god. Lando backwards at Spoon. That could be big for the championship. Lando backwards. That's a devastating error for both us as a team. Also for Lando in his own personal Drivers' Championship hopes. Not for the title, but in the battle for P8, P7. Someone's been collected, by the way. There's more cars stacked up there. They've both got going, but Lando now down to last place, which is an issue. We gained a place, but it's not the car I was hoping to overtake. Leclerc putting the pressure on here. I'm starting to struggle now. Soft tyres are just beginning to let go. There goes Leclerc to the inside. I'm going to hold my line. We're running low on battery now. Starting to defend rather than attack. Okay, this is pretty decent. We'll sit behind Carlos and basically try to stay here for the rest of the stint, and we'll stay in DRS. Target this race is P3. That's the best we can hope for, with Piastri now starting to break away a little bit. Leclerc close again. Luckily I've got a bit of battery saved up so I can use it to stay in front. We won't even challenge into 130R, so there we go. Getting there now, just 2 laps away from the pit stop. I'm going to try and pit on my original lap to extend this stint a little bit. I was going to pit a lap earlier, but I want to try and take the pain now. I'm in a pretty comfortable position behind Sainz, so we'll make the most of it, and then we'll get on to basically a decent strategy, get onto medium tyre afterwards, and that will bring us into the race. Oh my god. Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa. Second big incident of the race. Sainz with a spin out of nowhere. I was going to extend by 1 more lap and go another lap, but that now... I've lost the DRS, so I may pit this lap now and stick to the original strategy because of that. No safety car, but Sainz out of the fight, so we're now racing Piastri here. Okay, here we go. We're going to pit, get the mediums on, go to the end. I was going to go 1 more lap. I was feeling pretty comfortable behind Sainz, but obviously that has gone now. We don't have DRS to help me out and kind of give me a bit of pace, so we're going to box and bring her in. Slow her down, there we go. A little bit crossed up, but that's okay. Had to move the brake bias back because I was struggling with the rear locking and losing the back end. Other cars on the softs also pitting with us. Brilliant stop as always, 2.2. Verstappen onto hard tyres, interestingly enough. Lando's ahead of Sainz and is now looking to pass this next car, which we'll probably see now to turn 1, to be fair.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
There he is. We see it live. Lando passes Paul Chair. Important to push now and undercut Oscar Piastri. That's the target. Hopefully Piastri goes for a hard tyre. That would be the ideal scenario here. We're going to pass Paul Chair, hopefully into the hairpin, and then get Lando shortly after that. A little bit wide there, a bit of understeer. Tyres not fully warmed up, but still closing. You see the grip difference there. Now using the full charger battery. Up the inside of Paul Chair, a little bit wide, a little bit aggressive, but we go through. Now we're going to clear Lando. We'll try to use the least amount of battery possible behind him and basically get a good old-fashioned DRS overtake, just using the tyre difference. But hopefully Lando can recover. He should have a good enough car to get back into the points, I think. He's already made up a few places. We'll see if he can obviously gain a bit more during the pit window with pit phase. Well, let's look to pass him here. And get a nice little slingshot onto what will be probably our best lap of the race, our fastest lap attempt. As more cars on the soft tyres are in. Here we go. Don't want to cost Lando any time. You can see we are down in straight line speed though. That's a nice easy move. Couple of moves down Paul Chair and Lando. Let's push now. Piastri undercut underway. First warning, a little bit wide there through Spoon. Bottomed out on the curb a little bit. Took us out of bounds. One of the Mercedes cars is in and looks like Piastri I think stays out, but Leclerc hits. So we'll see where we are. Leclerc was of course right behind us. That was a perfect chicane. No purple sectors though, but it should be our fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Yes it is.
Lando's in the pits. Lando in the pits.
And there's Leclerc, so comfortably ahead, and he's on a hard tyre, so let's keep pushing. Piastri's our target. Every single car left is going to pit, so Bottas, Piastri, Russell. Important to use battery now on the pit straight. We could be racing on pit exit. Let's see, have we done enough? This is a crucial point of the race for the podium. There is Piastri. We've done it. Lovely. Hopefully we get the extra point for the fastest lap. That would be nice. Important to beat Piastri, of course, for Lando's championship. That's Lando's main rival. So, you know, we want to cost Piastri as many points as possible. Let's try and break the ice if we can. Won't be easy. And there goes the extra point. Hamilton takes away the fastest lap of the race. Piastri's pushing here. Very fast. Straight line speed is really, really good for them. So we're going to be in a bit of a battle here for the rest of this race, trying to defend the podium, but we'll do what we can to hold on. Sargent out of the race. As Lando takes the extra point. Happy with that. Hopefully Lando can bag the fastest lap. That'd be nice for the championship, if he can get into the top 10 anyway. Damage limitation. Piastri on the hunt. I'm not going to fight. I'm going to let him go. I think it's better for our race if we just let him lead and I'll sit behind and I'll try and get him in the last lap so we can save tyres this way and also keep the battery topped up. I think this is a better long-term plan, especially with the strategy we're running. I will admit I'm a little bit concerned. The hard tyre seems genuinely fast and seems to fire up quite nice. Piastri here on the cusp of breaking DRS. I'm going to have to use all the battery I've got on the back straight here to stay with him. I can really tell we're losing so much in acceleration to the AI, but we're going to have to really push to stay within DRS range here, which I don't think I've got. I haven't. This could be a struggle actually, more than I expected. The medium maybe isn't the one around it. Maybe the hard tyre is the better tyre. Yeah, I can't keep up. Piastri's way too quick for me. This tyre maybe isn't as good, or maybe my pace isn't that great at this stage. Either way, I thought the race was done when we got into the medium. I thought we'd done it, but I'm actually struggling more now than I was on the soft tyre. I'm never going to use battery here because I'm not going to get in DRS range. So we'll let Leclerc go by. Maybe I can stay in his DRS, but this is going to be a struggle. Maybe we need the Aston Martin Civil War to bow me out here. That was close. Yeah, Leclerc's gone. I'm getting very fast in the first sector now. I can't really keep up. Even in the third sector, which is where I'm strongest, they're starting to really put some time on me. Just don't have an answer right now. The hard tyre seems to be the better tyre. Maybe we should have gone for that at the pit stop. Here comes Perez. I'm not going to waste a lot of battery trying to defend this one. In hindsight, the play, really, for the rest of this race would be to just do this. Let them go, we get them back, and we get DRS for the main straight, and we basically defend, but I've only just realised now, so I've realised a bit too late. Bit of a shame really, but it is what it is. Aston Martin are going to score some big points today, and it's going to be a bit of a disappointing race for us as a team. I've now got a pretty decent defensive method figured out, so I think we can hold on to P5, but I wish I'd clocked sooner. We definitely could have stopped Leclerc, definitely, but I just didn't think of this method soon enough. But yeah, we basically just let ourselves get caught and passed. Although this time Verstappen isn't looking to go for it. And then we just get DRS basically, simple as that.
Okay, be careful. We think you're going to start losing some tyre grip anytime now.
Contact. We have marbles on our tyres, which is giving me no grip. But then again, we get the DRS, and I can do this all day. If I don't pass them into the chicane, I can pass them on the main straight, but this would have been the strategy and the plan. Could have actually kept them behind, but I really thought I had pace to keep up with Piastri originally once I let him by. That was the plan, but clearly I've been surprised here. This pace is actually worse than the first stint. I was actually okay on the softs, so maybe the medium is actually not a good race tyre here. Same again, it's going to be the same thing every single lap. I'm moving my brake bias a bit more to the front. I feel like that will be better for us. I can brake later with a bit more front end bias. Yellow flag on the pit straight. That could be a Mercedes. So important to repass Checo here.
Caution, caution.
Yellow flag zone coming up, so we have to get that move done. But it is a Mercedes, and that is big for the championship.
Okay, be aware there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags.
This time it's Hamilton's turn. Could there be a late safety car? A late twist to this race? I don't think there will be. But Hamilton out. That moves both Aston Martins onto the podium.
Green flag.
But crucially, one of the big boys out of this race. That might just keep us in the title hunt. Got a bit of a gap this time. Got a full charge, so I can stay in front here on this lap. Also, they're battling behind. Well, here comes Checo again. One thing I'm realising is with Russell's DNF, Hamilton as well, the Mercs might be scrambling for spare parts, so there could be some penalties in these closing races, grid drops maybe, which could be making things quite interesting. We just got to now try and finish in P4. This is gold dust for us now with that Mercedes retirement of Hamilton. Got to try and see if we can lock that in and get those points. So Lando's on the hunt. Not too far off some points. Here goes Perez. Again, we'll just keep...
Okay, information on Verstappen. They've got an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
We'll keep running this back. You can see reliability now is becoming a factor. Yellow flag, so Verstappen's out of the race. Another place for Lando. But yeah, everyone's really struggling with their cars now at this stage of the season. Although I'll say that. Yellow flag's gone. Verstappen's got going again, so temporary fault. Verstappen pits for some sort of repair, so maybe damage or contact. So that gives Lando now P11. If he still has the fastest lap, which I don't think he'll have now once Verstappen gets going, he would get an extra point. Right, we can now drain the battery from this point on. We'll have enough to the end of the race, so we will not be letting Checo through anymore, or Bottas in this case, who's now the next car behind. Right, just got to try and nail Spoon here. One last time, got a bit of tyre wear. You see the icon flashing up in the bottom right. Russell dominates. Bottas is going to charge here with the remaining battery. I'm going to have to defend. We don't have the straight line speed, but we've got 130R, which is a strong point of ours, and the final chicane as well. Keep it nice and tidy, just got to make sure the exit's clean, and this is a very, very valuable P4. Not ideal that Russell won, but a very good limitation considering qualifying, and we'll take that.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Another action-packed Japanese Grand Prix comes to an end, and a magnificent drive to take the win today. What do you think it was today, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Well, Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
Race done then for the Japanese Grand Prix. Russell the winner, Piastri second, Leclerc third, Aston Martin having a very good day today and very strong pace to be fair. I think in hindsight, if I'd figured out that defensive strategy earlier, I could have fought. I basically used no battery during the lap and then used all of it, you know, when required to get the re-overtake done. And that allowed me to get a full charge basically back, which is ideal. Surprised though, the medium had worse tyre wear than the soft. We had the tyre indicator pop up at the end, whereas on the softs we didn't, and they were used as well. They weren't even fresh. And I was actually quite comfortable up until Sainz spun. I was going to go a bit later into the stint and drag on by at least one lap, possibly another if I felt good at the time, but yeah, it is what it is. Elsewhere, Lando did not score points. P11 in the end, which is a real shame, especially because he finished less than a second off P8. That's how close they all were. So, yeah, not ideal for the championship, but luckily only one Merc finished the race. Aston Martin, though, get a big points haul. So let's look at the standings and go through everything. So Leclerc is 17 points adrift. It's okay. I've got a decent gap to manage there. The gap to Hamilton is cut down, but still, though, a pretty, you know, a big 37 points away. That's quite a gap. Russell now with a big step towards the title, possibly with, you know, only a few races left to go. This could be a real key moment for him. Lando P9 loses P8 to Sergio Perez, and in a race where Sainz also spun, Lando missed out on some crucial points to cut the gap to Sainz and Bottas, to be fair. So yeah, Verstappen as well, to be fair, had an incident in that race. So Lando could have taking a big chunk out of his rival. So a race of mixed fortunes, but damage limitation, we're still second, 3 points ahead of Ferrari, so we're still holding on to that second spot. And yeah, we go to the next one, guys. Qatar next, sprint race, should be really interesting, and we'll see what happens in that one, guys. But like the episode, subscribe for more daily F1 content. I'm on the road to 100k subs. If you want to help me get there, please, if you're new, I can't stress this enough, please subscribe to my channel. I want that silver plaque. But yeah, as always, a big shout out to the channel members for supporting me, as always. Apologies for the brief pausing this morning. I had a bit of an issue in the back end, but everything's okay now. And yeah, as always, check out the 2 videos on screen, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, and it's goodbye from me.